Hello devs. It is well known how brutal the tech market is right now. In the last recruitment cycle, it took me over 200 applications, hundreds of hours of prep, networking, attending career fairs, and I did 50 interviews to finally land the job I have right now. So in today's video, I'm going to break down everything that worked step by step and everything that did not work and why. Okay, so before we go on, many of you have asked me what I do for a living, what is my job right now, what frameworks I use. So for my current job, I applied through LinkedIn and I got the job 2 months later after 2 or 3 interviews. I think it was 3 interviews. So was I qualified for the job? I mean, yes and no. I obviously did not meet all of the requirements, but I knew similar frameworks. So for example, for the backend, I use Quarkus and I knew Spring Boot, which is kind of similar. And for the frontend, I did not know Vue.js, but I knew React.js. That is why requirements, in my opinion, are irrelevant. Obviously, you don't really apply for a senior position if you are a new grad. So my first interview was a 30-minute get to know each other interview. We talked about a little bit about my experience. I had to introduce myself, and at that point I was assigned a task, a product searching web application, and I had 1 week to complete that. So I sent it to them after a week, they were satisfied, and we moved on to the next interview, which was arguably the hardest interview I've ever done. It was 3 hours, and if I remember correctly, the first part was assessing my projects, so what I could have done better, why I did certain things. So that was maybe the first 30 minutes. Then I was asked general questions about maybe Spring Boot, about Quarkus, and then some more questions about Java in general, syntax questions. Then we moved on to some like problem-solving riddles to see my thinking on the spot. That was also kind of hard in my opinion because I was very stressed, so I could not really think clearly, and I think that's where experience in interviews comes in handy because you're not so stressed and you can think way better. And after that, the last part was a behavioral interview, so what I would do in certain situations, and that interview also went well. I think they were satisfied, and I got the offer a week later. I said yes. So let's talk about my experience so far after getting the job. So my first 2 months I went through a training program, and I basically had a list of things that I had to learn, and I learned them basically by doing the same project for my assessment during the interviews, but I was building it with the frameworks and the technologies that I was learning at that time. So after completing the training program, I presented the project to the team, and after that we discussed where I would fit better. So I joined the team that is working on a project that is almost done. It had some minor and some major bugs in it, and I'm working on these bugs both in the front end, on the back end, on the database, doing some data migration as well. So that's it from me basically, that's my job right now. I hope I answered all of your questions about what frameworks I use and stuff. And since my break is almost over, I'm gonna head inside. And in case you're curious, I will leave a link in the description with the resume I had at the time when applying for this job. The first step in order to get hired is to apply. I applied through LinkedIn, but there are other ways, like this GitHub repo called New Grad Positions. Every single day this repository is updated with every job posting that was posted that day. I also used this website called sweetlist.com. You basically just decide between internship or new grad, you give your email, and every day you get notified about the new openings from that day. Keep in mind, most of these resources update on jobs for the US or Canada, but it's worth checking them out. You can also do this hack on LinkedIn to filter jobs by the hour instead of the last 24 hours. Ideally, you should do that every day to apply first, instead of doing 50 applications a day to old openings that are probably just days away from closing that listing. Being in the first 50 people to apply is a massive boost. The best and most effective way, though, in my opinion, is to get a referral from someone. Maybe a friend that works in the company or even a representative that you met in a career event. You can even cold approach recruiters and send them an email or a message on LinkedIn. Usually on their page you can see the HRs of the company and the people that work there. So in 2026, make connections because you will need them more than ever. Next on the list is your resume, and I'm gonna spend a lot of time on this one because it is arguably the most important part. Your resume is the first impression a recruiter has of you, so you need to make it count. Keep in mind, the average time a recruiter spends on a resume is 7 to 9 seconds, so it has to be compact and straight to the point. The template you want is very specific, and you can find it by searching Jake's resume template. Click on the first link that pops up, which is Overleaf, and that is how you're going to make yours. I will also leave a link in the description with my resume. Your resume is your appearance, so you have to show the recruiters what you want them to see, and not only them, but the ATS system as well. That is the applicant tracking system, and it evaluates how well suited you are for a job based off of certain keywords. When companies have over 1,000 resumes to review for each position, they are not gonna go over each one by themselves. What they will do is have the ATS make the first round selection based off of relevance. For example, if I'm applying for a backend position with Spring Boot and AWS, and I have zero references to these technologies and not even Java on my resume, then there's no reason to proceed with me over the other candidates that have that experience in their resume. Even if I have better potential, it is just not worth their time. That is why your resume has to be ATS optimized, and you can use an app called Resumax from Eric Kupsa. I have no affiliation with the app, I just like the work they're doing, and you can also get a free evaluation on their website, so you have nothing to lose. Back to the resume, the more precise and readable it is, the better. That is why you have to use the XYZ method to highlight your achievements as suggested by Google and Meta themselves. That means accomplished X through Y using Z. You also have to use bold characters to highlight certain keywords that kind of summarize the bullet point into 5 or 6 words. And also, you need to quantify the results as much as possible to help the reader understand the impact you had. In many cases, the one reading your resume may not even be a tech person but an HR. So you have to help them understand your impact. In case you're a student and you have no working experience yet, I highly recommend you do as many internships as possible. Experience is #1 priority in your resume, so make sure it's above everything else. And for projects, you have to build something meaningful. Something you cannot build with AI in less than a week. Try to find something you're passionate about and build that. No more calculators or weather apps in 2026. I am personally very into fitness and working out, and I haven't found yet an app that lets me track my workouts the way I want to. So I decided to build my own so I can use it for myself and learn at the same time. Also, one good advice I've gotten is to build startups, not apps. Because best case scenario, you have a business, and worst case scenario, you have a very strong project on your resume, maybe even with a user base. Now, if you're wondering what tech stack to build these projects with, this is really up to preference. I decided to learn Spring Boot, and it helped me massively because it is in very high demand. For resources, I watched Amigos code on YouTube, but the possibilities are endless. Assuming now you have passed the ATS and the recruiters have shown an interest in you, we have the interviewing rounds. A good resume will open up doors, but if you cannot follow up the hype, then it is no good. That is why it is not advised to lie on your resume, because you will be asked about it during interviews. I can guarantee you, the worst thing that can happen during an interview is you being asked about your resume and not being able to back up everything you're saying. Not having a lot of knowledge is expected from a junior, but lying is a very bad indicator to give someone from the get-go. At this point, you have to be ready to present yourself. Spend at least a day preparing an answer for when you have to introduce yourself. Don't do the same mistake I did, going full improv and talking about all the classes I took in uni. I thought that if I mention all the hard classes I have passed, I will impress the recruiters. But I did not realize that I lacked relevance to the job, which is the most important thing. You have to highlight only the parts that you want the recruiter to know about you. Talk about relevant projects to the position, the internships you've done, or the hackathons you have attended. Make it up to 3 minutes of valuable info. But that is the easy part. How do you prepare for the technical questions that will follow? That is the one thing I see most videos get wrong, and that is doing 1,000 lead code questions. Not that there is something wrong with it, but what I mean is that you have to study your market to understand what you will be asked. Interviews differ from counter to counter. I was not asked more than 3 lead code questions in 15 interviews. I was asked more about the technologies regarding the job, like what is a CDI, what are some building design patterns that I know, how I would scale a web app, and that sort of stuff. That is why good projects are not only important to your resume, but for your fundamental understanding of the technologies. Also, if you have actual interesting projects, then the recruiters will focus on them and ask less questions of their own. The advantage in that is that you get to talk about things you've built instead of random questions they come up with. You also have to show critical thinking. If you don't know the answer to a question, you can chat about it with the interviewer, maybe ask for a bit of help and try to figure it out on the spot. That might be even more impressive than knowing something already, because it displays quick thinking and actual problem solving. Now, that does not mean that you should abandon the basics completely, and those should be your easy points. You should be able to answer simple syntax questions, even though AI can do it for you. The point is, you have to know the basics and then use AI on top of that. You may also be wondering when you should start applying. In my opinion, the earlier the better. Most likely, you will never feel 100% ready, because imposter syndrome is real, so don't let that hold you back. Even if you don't succeed, you gain experience that will come in handy later. Let's talk about some useful tips. Being good at interviews is a skill. You can be the best engineer, but if your communication is bad, you will not get your points across. So the more you do it, the better you get at it. Maybe even take the time to apply first to positions that you don't want, so you get the nerves out of the way and you're at your peak when you're applying to jobs that you actually like. So let's quickly summarize everything we've talked about up until this point. Number 1. Have a good resume, one page and a good template. Number 2. Build good projects that could solve a real problem in the world. Number 3. Do as many internships as you can. Number 4. Make connections and go to every career event you can. Number 5. Always ask for referrals. Number 6. Study your local market and do as many interviews as possible. Finally, I want you not to get discouraged. Even the best of the best that you see on social media getting into big tech, they have applied to hundreds of companies and they have spent months preparing. Do not compare yourself because everybody's journey is different. So do not give up, put in the work, and it's only a matter of time until you get rewarded. Devs, thank you for watching this far. Please like and subscribe because it really helps me going, and comment what you want to see next.